It's my posture.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Catching You podcast. My name is Lacie Ham. I'm your co-host, and today with me is my friend Des Rivera. Say hi, Des.
Hi guys, thanks for having me, Lacie.
Of course. So me and Des met on Mark Campbell's team in 14U, right?
Yeah, first year 14.
First year 14. So she was my catcher. Who else was catching? Was it
We
Lefty?
had Lefty, and then Arissa,
Orissa?
Riley,
Riley?
and then eventually we got Jossie.
Eventually, okay. So yeah, that's where we met. Batbusters. Well, were you a Batbuster before or no?
Yeah, I was with Batbusters. That was my first travel team in 10U, and I
Okay.
stayed until first year 16s.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to kind of like the beginning of your journey. So like why you started playing softball or like your t-ball days up until how about now, like going through high school and everything. So yeah, tell me a little about that.
Okay, so I started playing really young because my older sister played, and I was just like that annoying little sister that was always trying to get in her practices. Like, I had no business being there, and I was like in the outfield for no reason. So that's where I started. And then I played like a few years of 10U because I wasn't in a very competitive rec league. So eventually, like when I was 9 or maybe 10 already, my parents decided to have me try out for my first travel ball team, and it was Batbusters. So it was funny though, because like the night before, they were like prepping me to like not make the team. They're like, it's okay. We just want to see where you're at compared to other girls. So they're like giving me that,
Yeah, okay, try your best.
try your best. You're probably not gonna make it. And I was like, okay, thanks. But yeah, that's where I started. I made that Batbuster team. It was Kayla Chavez's
Oh,
dad.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I started, and just basically started playing because of my sister playing. So that was like my biggest reason starting up. I loved watching her play, and I just wanted to like copy everything she did. So I did exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, started off with Batbusters, stayed there for a few years. I was always on a Batbuster team. It's just kind of got moved around like coach to coach. I eventually played for Richard MacArthur, and then that's when Lacie and I met in 14U. We played together for 2 seasons.
Yep.
Then obviously I left Batbusters and I joined Mercado, and that's I think like when my like recruiting and everything started to turn around for me. I just felt like I was a different player with Mercado's team. I don't know. I just played differently over there. I was like always coached by great coaches, Mark Campbell, Richard, Mike Stith. They were all awesome, but I just played different when I got to athletics. So that's when like my recruiting started to really light up, I feel like. And that was just kind of like my travel ball, kind of come up. Started with Batbusters, finished 3 years with athletics, got to play with Dave, which was cool. Won a couple national championships with him. And yeah.
All right. And then what was I gonna say? Oh, like you're going back to what you said about you felt like a different player because after I left Batbusters, I went to Mercado as well. I was on Greg's team. Um, which I mean, it was hard because you build like this family and travel ball for so long and then you have to leave it. So like how did you feel like having to create like kind of like brand new friends, brand new like basically softball family like from scratch? I mean, you were a bit younger than I was when you did that. So kind of describe like how that changed how you played.
Honestly, like, I think the change is what motivated me and really made me like come out of my shell because like the transition was not easy. Um, being around new girls, there was like newer attitudes, new just everything. And it put me in just like a less, I want to say, a good type of uncomfortable because I felt like I'm here to like compete. Things were less friendly in the beginning of the transition and more like I'm here to like take somebody's spot type of thing. So, um, I think that's kind of what really made me come out of my shell, and I performed really well because like there's kind of that fire under me because things were just like not great for me right away, and I was even like, oh my god, like mom, should I have left? And we had a lot of just doubt, but after it was kind of like I don't want to say this is the reason why, but I felt like as I started to like play better, that's when like more people come around you and are nicer to you, unfortunately.
And I mean, same as in college a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So it wasn't like an easy start, but like in 16s, I would say when I first got to Greg's team, that was definitely kind of what made things different for me. And then obviously I went to Dave's and I was in like one of the most like family like environments that I've ever had. Dave, I know he's like a hard but on the field, but he's like a big teddy bear outside of that. Mark is awesome. We had Brian Pylon for a little bit, and they were just like awesome people. Like they're like, your second, third, and fourth dads, and they're just fun to play for. The girls are all there for the right reason, which made it fun. And obviously it was still competitive. I was still there to like fight for a spot, but then you're just like around quality people that like push you, and it was awesome. I loved being over there.
Yeah. I did really love that organization too. That's kind of where like recruiting was like a, it was so new to me. It
Yeah.
was so new because they never talked about it really with as you move up in the Batbusters. Like
Yeah.
me and Dad have talked about it before. Like the colleges have to come to you.
Yeah, like no camps, no.
No, no, it was crazy and it was very new. Like, and then that's like how Greg kind of like introduced me to all this like recruiting things, and like I visited UNC, and then basically just COVID happened. So that was just like all these obstacles that
Yeah.
you have to go through. But did you have any trouble like with I mean, you committed before COVID happened, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so with like your recruiting, how did that go for you? Like what were the different types of ways that like were coaches reaching out to you? Were you reaching out to coaches? Like what was happening?
So, like, throughout the summer of my sophomore year, I was reaching out to coaches, and like the one thing with athletics was like I felt like I never was aware of how many schools there really were growing up with Batbusters, especially the teams that we were on. Because the teams that we were on, we were seeing girls commit to Oklahoma, Arizona, UCLA, Florida. Like it felt like that was all that there was in the world.
Mhm.
And if it wasn't that, I was like, like what else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And like at the time that wasn't like the player that I was and that I felt like where I was gonna end up. So like being with Mercado,
Oh, you're good. You're
okay.
good.
So I just
It's
pick up where
yeah.
okay. So yeah, being with Mercado, I just realized how many more schools were out there and I started to reach out a ton my sophomore year. Obviously they couldn't get in contact with us, so I wasn't like hearing anything back. But there was like communication between schools and my coaches, and they would kind of relay to me like, hey, like you should go to this camp, wink wink. So then yeah, it was just a lot of email writing. So embarrassing. Like you don't know how many times I would like copy and paste an email and forget to change the coach's name. I was like, oh my god, like
Me and
I,
my dad were just talking about that.
yeah,
Like before I left for like college here during the summer. He was like, "You CC'd me on some emails, and that's probably why they didn't get back
I
to you."
know. I'm like, hey, sorry, I know you're not Heather Tar, wrong coach. But I've done that like a few times. Even in the
Yeah.
transfer process, I did that. I was like, oh well, there goes
Oh,
that. But
yeah.
yeah, just a lot of email writing. And Mercado would hold like organizational camps. If like I don't know if you remember those, but it was like you didn't have to pay to get in, I don't think so. But teams would go at different times and they would invite a bunch of coaches and they just watch like this practice type of thing. So they were usually at like remember Rosetta Canyon? We
Yes. Yes.
so many coaches everywhere. And that's where I remember my mom, we were at like the camp. She was there watching me and she saw Eric Leba from Oregon State. And she said that he got up and was asking, like, oh, like, who is she? Because my number was wrong on the paper. So my mom's all like getting excited and stuff. She came back and told me, I was like, oh, it's probably not a big deal. And then a
Yeah.
few weeks passed, September 1st hits, and then they ended up reaching out to me. So I was like, oh, that was funny, But I was like, no, they weren't actually looking at me. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. Then September 1st, I got some calls. Um, I was planning on setting up some visits throughout the fall, but Oregon State wanted me to go out that following weekend for an unofficial, and I ended up committing immediately. Was it
Mm.
really? I don't know. I really loved it, and I did want to see more schools at first, just because, I wanted to compare campuses, compare coaching, like compare facilities. But they offered me at that camp and the unofficial, and I actually didn't take the offer right away because I was setting up other visits with other schools. And I
Mm.
ended up leaving, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'll take some time to kind of figure some stuff out. And I called Greg. So I called him.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, Oregon State offered me. He's like, you took it, right? And I was like, no. And he was like, how many other Pac-12 offers do you have with that money? And I was like, none. And he was like, go back in there and take it right now. So I was like, okay. So then I run back to the office and I'm like knocking on the door and I was like, hey, like, I'll take it.
that is funny.
So that's how I committed. And
Yeah,
I mean, it worked out. Like, I had a good experience there to start. And, I thought it was like a good place for me to be. Obviously, we went to like the World Series and stuff. It was awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't like have any regrets with how my process went or like where I landed at first.
That's a funny story with
I,
Greg.
I was
I
like,
can see him saying that.
I know, I was so embarrassed. I was like shaking when I knocked on the door. I was like, hey guys,
You're like, what if they took it back?
I know. It's like, please tell me.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine. Like, I would be nervous as well.
Yeah,
Like, but I mean, Greg was awesome with recruiting and stuff, and like, I totally like admired that like you took that chance to like switch over and like go through with like being in Mercado and stuff. It like it seemed just like a whole different world. Like I felt like I was in this bubble that I didn't even know like what was like out there, you know?
yeah, definitely.
Girls would describe like their Corona Angel experience. I'm like, wow, Hell Week, like
I
what
know.
the hell is that? Hell Week is like every weekend for us, like all this stuff, and like it's just so crazy.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
every,
Okay, but now to present day, you're at University of Iowa.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, my last interview was with my good friend Sarah, who transferred from University of Hawaii Hilo to Cal State Dominguez Hills. And she just felt like it wasn't like the right fit, and she found her new family at her new school. So kind of walk us through like maybe a summary of why you decided to transfer, or like what were the main points. Just kind of go through that process of where you're at now.
Okay. So, like, one of the big reasons, which is like pretty easy to guess, was like the whole realignment. I knew like I wasn't happy with the way everything was changing and it sucked. Like, it was so sad because like I've always loved playing in the Pac-12. Like growing up, that was the only conference I ever watched. I always went to like Pac-12, UCLA games and like that was just local. Like I loved doing that. So the whole realignment made me like super unsure about our future. And when I had left, I'm pretty sure we hadn't found the West Coast Conference yet because I mid-year transferred. So things weren't like set in place yet. All we knew was Oregon State and Washington State. Obviously, they'll have a softball team, but we were just the team that got kind of left out when everyone was finding new Power Four conferences. So that
Mm.
was like one big part of it. And then the next thing was just kind of like I've always had like a dream and like ideas for how I wanted my like college career to go. And I felt like to start, I was like getting to places I didn't think I would. Like I never like as much as you dream of going to the World Series or like any of that. And like obviously I always went into each year saying that's what I'm gonna work towards, like that's what's gonna happen. But like the reality of that happening is so low. So
Yeah.
making that happen like with my team was awesome. But then moving forward, like as the year changed, I felt like I was no longer in a place where I can make those things and those dreams that I had as a little girl happen, which isn't even just like going to the World Series or anything, just the goals that I had for myself and the player that I wanted to be in college. I felt like I wasn't going to get that where I was anymore. So it just felt like it was in my best interest to try to find a new program. And when I was like in my recruiting process again, all of the things that I felt like I was missing or didn't really like that were happening in my program, that's really what I was paying attention for moving forward. It didn't really matter to me whether it was a Power Five or just anything. I knew I wanted to stay D1, but I was just looking for like those changes that I felt I needed. And luckily, I was like able to find that. It was really tough transferring mid-year because schools just aren't looking for someone, and I couldn't play anyway. I had a red shirt, so it's like, okay, who wants to pick up a catcher that can't play? And people
Right.
were willing, but they're like, sorry, like you're not gonna get any money. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, but then also schools are looking for like bullpen catchers
yeah.
for a season.
Which
So,
I was,
yep, yep.
yep, was
We appreciate you, and we
I know,
and you're appreciated.
yeah, what's happening in the game, but yeah, I found Iowa. The thing that really set them apart for me from like the other schools that were reaching out was how quick they were trying to make things happen. Like they set up a visit within a week for me. They were like communicating constantly. I heard from 3 out of the 4 of the coaches right away, and they were just showing a lot of interest in me, and I really respected their values and kind of the culture that they were trying to set for the team. So, going into my visit, I already had really high hopes. I also really loved like how serious they took women's sports here at Iowa. Like they do not play. This is like they always say like the epicenter of women's sports, and they are so serious about that, which is awesome. So, I ended up loving my visit, and I didn't take any more. This was the only visit I took. Went home, took some time to figure things out, talked to some more coaches, and accepted the offer. And it was just kind of crazy because I feel like there were things when I started playing with Iowa that like I was just like, oh my gosh, like I knew I didn't like this or that I wanted this when I was leaving Oregon State, but I was like open to so many new things that were like, oh my gosh, like I've been missing out on this and that. And, I just was like blinded because all I'm used to is the way that Oregon State ran things and the way, I lived my life over there. So then when I got here, I realized like how much more there was for me. So it was a
Right.
really good transition. I am very happy with where I'm at.
Yeah, because you're also playing with our other old teammate Tatiana,
Yes.
which is awesome because I mean, my family's super close with her family, and like kind of she was on Mark's team with us,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's so fun.
I know, we
And,
have a great time. We have a great time
I mean, I see really cute pictures of all of you at like football games and
together.
stuff.
Day.
Yeah. What was I gonna ask? Oh, about you not playing, like, because you had a red shirt because you transferred mid-year. So it's an NCAA rule, right? So you
Yeah.
transfer mid-year after the first semester, you can't play in the spring
Yeah.
since football's a spring sport. So how did you feel like? Because now you're at Iowa, and you have different coaches, principals, teammates, campus, all of that, but then you're told, but you can't play. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't play softball. And like so because a lot of what I want to talk about on here as well is like the mental side because that's kind of what I'm going to go into after college. So how did you it's kind of I mean it's not an injury, but I feel like it feels like an injury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like tell me how you like kind of got through that or like what you were thinking throughout the whole season just like trying to go through the season without being able to even step on the field.
Yeah. It was honestly so hard because, like, you're just watching, like, your team go to war and you're watching, like, the ups and the downs, knowing, like, there's not much you can do. So it was just really, like, important for me that I was able to help however I can. So if that meant catching bullpens at practice, like as much as it sucked sometimes because I wanted to like actually be getting reps, I had to like step back and realize like, okay, this is what's going to be best for the team right now. Or like, at a batting practice, like sitting out to make sure everyone that could play could get reps. Or like taking time to like throw live to girls just to make sure. So I just really had to realize like this is how I'm gonna make the like most or the best impact for the team. And I don't know, in a way too, like not being able to play this year motivated me like crazy because like having like a season taken away just made me realize how much like I cared about softball. Like I felt like, oh my gosh, like I would die to be playing right now, and I've never like had to feel that way because I've always been fortunate enough to be on the field. So it just like made me realize like, oh my God, I've spent these last 2 years just not realizing how like special and like lucky I am to be able to be playing. So it just really like opened up like this new idea for me and just kind of changed my perspective on like being able to even play. So even though I couldn't play, I think I put in more work than I like ever have in my life. Like I was
Yeah.
going in doing like extra lifts. I was hitting whenever I could, always just trying to like do the most because I was like, God, like I wish I could be playing right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was like a big part for me is just like realizing like I was taking like everything for granted and I wish that I like did more in my first 2 years. So although it sucked, I think like in a way it worked out because it allowed me to realize what I was, gonna be missing. But it was just nice to know that I get my year back. It's not like I just lost it. So,
Right.
I got two more to go. And I know kind of where I need to be at mentally now moving forward and like what it's gonna take so I don't leave my college career with like any regrets. Because had this not happened, I could have had plenty.
Right. And yeah, it's crazy to think that it could just be like ripped from you, right? And like that's what I've been thinking is like this is my last year. Like so like you have one more year because you transferred mid-year, and I've been at San Jose State for this is my fourth year now, and like I don't have a COVID year. I don't have a redshirt year.
Oh
Like
my God.
I just lived the whole college experience, the 4 years that like, and it's crazy to think about. And I mean, people have been asking me recently, like, how do you feel about it being your last year? I'm like, ask me in May or something. Like, I don't want to think about it right now, and because I mean, everyone's told me throughout my whole college career, like, stay grounded, stay present in the moment you are. And I'm like, so why are you asking me all these questions about how do you feel about your career ending?
Yeah. And
Why do I want to think about that right now?
yeah, and on it, like everyone says it flies, but like, oh my God,
God.
it flies so like I
I
didn't.
was yeah, I was getting Snapchat memories of freshman year and like the start of like the first few days of freshman year, and it's like us making friends with like the guys across the hall, or like all the freshman softball girls getting super close super quick, and it's like now it's just like I have one more year of that, and it's just insane. But like like you said, like taking it for granted. It's like I think a lot of people do take it for granted,
Yeah.
and we're very lucky to be in like the position we are now. And like obviously you've had your ups and downs, and like so have I. So I kind of wanted to like go to that and be like, so what has been probably your roughest, your like highest moment in softball and your lowest moment?
Um, Definitely like I think my highest and lowest were happening at the same time. Weirdly, freshman year post season, I was like, this is so embarrassing to even remember, but I was like 0 for regionals and 0 for super regionals. And I was just like, can I please just get on base? I don't care how it is. Like, I'm going to lean into this pitch. I'm going to do literally whatever it takes. But it just sucked so bad because I felt like, okay, I'm in here for a reason, but I just felt like I did not deserve to be on that field. I was doing so horribly, like mentally. It was so hard because we're moving and like our team's doing well. We're getting hot at the right time. And it sucked because I was just like, I almost felt like an anchor, and no matter what
Yeah.
I did, I could not get myself out of it. And it just made it so hard. Like I had so many conversations with my coach, and I was trying everything to get out of this like funk that I was in. Could not do it. It was spilling into my defense. But freshman year, like we basically like only had me, so it's not like they even had other options. So I just felt like crap the entire time. I was like, gosh, like this is so hard. Like it even got to the point where like I know this is horrible to say, even in like the biggest moments that we're in, you'd normally be excited. I was like, I want no part of this right now. Like I do not want to be up here with bases loaded against Tennessee. Like, please take me out. And it sounds so horrible. Or like,
Right.
we're a game away from going to OKC. We beat Stanford once, and I'm talking to Kiki, my good friend, and I'm like, dude, if we win another game, like we're going to freaking Oklahoma, like, and I haven't hit a ball since pack time. And I was like, it was just like a really low point for me, but I was just trying to stay positive because I know, like, I saw how much fun everyone else was having because, like I said, we got hot at the right time. People were performing super well. So it was just kind of tough getting through that like little patch, but then like I said, that was also like a really high point for us because then we did go to OKC. No one expected us to. There was a point we didn't even expect ourselves to because we were in like, I think like a 10-game losing streak, and it was just losing by 1 run over and over again. Like UCLA, we lost by 1 each game. Oregon, Washington, and it was like, dude, like this is
Yeah.
horrible, and we ended up making it, and it just felt like insane. So that experience was something like I don't know, I hope I could experience again, but it was awesome. And it was just kind of like I was battling the good and the bad at the same time. And luckily once we actually got to Oklahoma, like I felt like I just let go of everything because I was like, this is the last, like the end of it really, like you can't go any further than this. I relaxed a lot more. I just tried to enjoy the moment a lot more, and I finally got a hit. I was like, let's go.
Who was it off of?
Dude, I don't even know, but it was against Florida. Yeah, so like a hit against Florida. We ended up playing Arizona. We were
Okay,
0-2, but like, it's whatever.
it's
And
okay.
beat Arizona when we played them. So I was like, damn. But both of us had awful years and then just got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah, things came together a lot better. It was really cool. Just like, like my highlight of that tournament was, I don't want to like throw names, but like I threw out Kendra Falby, and it was just like the best day of my life. I was like, oh my god, she's so fast. Like as soon as she got on, I was like, she's going literally right now. Like I just need to throw the so moments like that, just like you don't forget. And yeah, it was a mix of like that whole month was just highs and lows.
Right. And like, what would you say a little freshman is going to be in like the same situation as you, and like what would you say to them, like they're going through that same thing, you like not doing well in like regionals or supers, and like but the rest of your whole team is kind of like on that high, like what would you say to them to like give them advice in that moment? Because I mean, you obviously went to OKC and then you said you got a hit against Florida. So like how did, or like just give them advice on like what to do in that scenario, or like what kind of things you were thinking about.
Yeah, in that scenario, I definitely think I was getting selfish because I was just like caring. I cared about like our team success, but I was letting like the way that I performed bring me down. And I know that like my team needed me to be up, even if I wasn't performing well. Just my energy in the dugout, like my energy on the field, it just needed to be right in order for things to work out. So even when you're not like doing your best, just making sure that like you're putting your team first, which is something like I definitely struggled with in like that period because I just was so defeated. And it wasn't even like I'm mad that I'm doing bad and it's hurting my numbers. I was mad that I was not helping the team. And it bothered me so much because I was given so many chances to turn that around, and I was just like not able to make it happen. So just kind of realizing like, okay, like as hard as this is, it happens to everyone. And you just need to like mentally be strong and, have the right mindset, not just to try to help yourself, but for the sake of your team. And obviously like from someone young, that type of standpoint, one thing like Laura Berg always told me was the game doesn't know age. Like it's so true. You see freshmen doing huge things all the time. Like some of the biggest people in softball are like of the year, during seasons, there's freshmen that are like breaking records and doing crazy things. So that's just something like I had to always remind myself is like the game doesn't know age. So you can't feel sorry for yourself for being a freshman and for it being your first rodeo. Like, everyone, there's so many other people out there in your same position that, are having success. So obviously not everyone's going to have a great freshman year, but just realizing like it's just the way that it's going to turn out the way that you want it to. And yeah, that's the
Well,
two things that I would say. Sorry,
that's
that was really hard to get out.
okay. It's okay. Well, Des, are you excited for your first season with Iowa?
Yes, dude. I've been waiting for this moment. And like I don't know if you knew this cuz I didn't at first, but when I had found out I had to like sit out for season, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm missing this little portion of the year, and then in the fall I'll be back. I'll be able to get some fall games in. Well, then apparently you're not allowed to play in the fall either. It was like a 1 year, like
Whole year.
entire year. So I was like, oh my God. So I didn't,
That is.
I have no idea. I was like, what? So they told me that, and I was like, well, that sucks. But then in the middle of this past season, they ended up changing the rule back. So then with like 3 weeks left, there was a chance I was going to be able to play again. And it was like this whole mess. Obviously, I didn't.
Changed it to where if you transfer mid-season, you can play.
Yeah. So of course,
Ooh.
the 1 year that I transfer, that
Maybe
happened.
it was maybe it was meant to be though.
It was meant to be because I needed to sit out and like think about my actions. I really did. But
Sit and think about what you did.
I really did. It worked out. I just needed to reflect.
Do
But
you, do you guys know like where you're playing at yet?
um I know like we do this thing, I think they called it like the Big Four. It's like us, Iowa State, UNI, and I don't know who the last one, Drake maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like the four D1 softball programs. We do like a little tournament, and then I do think we travel a little bit more because luckily in the Midwest you can bus like to
Yeah.
Chicago in 3 hours and stuff like that. So I know for sure like those four Iowa schools. I'm not really sure outside of that though. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited for the fall though because now I can't play.
Okay.
Luckily, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We found out we're gonna be in the Mary Nutter.
Wait, was this your guys' first Mary Nutter?
Yeah.
No way! Oh my
Yeah.
God,
It's not weird.
fun.
Is
Like,
it?
yes, because, like, there's so many people there. It's
So,
insane. It's almost like too many because I'm just trying to walk through with my catcher's bag and, like, I'm hitting little kids with it, and I'm like,
yeah.
please move.
I was telling my dad, like, I was like, it's so crazy that I'm a senior and I'm getting to end like playing at the Mary Nutter. Because did you go grow up going to Mary Nutter too? Yeah. So I was like freaking out.
Yeah, the whole circle.
I know. Who are we gonna play? Don't know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, like, Iowa. I was like,
I have no idea. I think we'll probably find out tomorrow, but I don't know. I don't care. We're going.
yeah, it's honestly, like, it's such an interesting tournament because playing at that field feels like travel ball, but then
Yeah.
there's just so many people there, and it's funny because there's so many schools there. You're just like everywhere you look, you see someone you know. So it's
Yep.
just like a big softball reunion, and it's fun, and there's so many people there. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what school you are. There's kids like trying to like get your autograph, and it's like the biggest like what the heck like
It's so cute. Like that's how it was when we did the Mark Campbell Invitational with like Oklahoma, Stanford, and all them, and like they're like, "Can we have your autograph?" I was like,
oh my gosh, I wish I was in that tournament, dude.
"I know you." Like because it was all like kind of like the like OG Batbuster girls
Yeah,
there. Oh, that would have been so fun.
I know. Oh my god, that would have been awesome. But I think I brought it up to Coach Berg, but like we were already like set
Yeah.
with like, what we were doing. But I was like, "Dang, maybe I'll just go on my own. Good, see
Just
if I know.
ditch a weekend of you guys playing and then come to the.
I know. I'm like, you know what? You guys don't need me this week.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Des, for being on this podcast with me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and I hope we see each other in the preseason or something.
We definitely will. We
Hopefully
saw you last year, and hopefully this time
next year.
I can actually play.
I thought I did okay against you guys. I don't
You
remember.
did. You literally did. It was like, what is it? A 3-2 game.
I think it was 3-2.
Such a close game. Like,
Okay. Yeah. I
so
think what helped was like I see like Lenny and like Veronica in the stands.
I know it felt like travel ball.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Des. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone go make sure to watch Des at the University of Iowa if you're in Iowa or
If you're happy to be in Iowa.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Lacie. Bye.
Bye.